All right, so we are going to go ahead and jump back in here. Hopefully you had some time to go and fiddle around in PyCharm in your IDE and write some different lines of code, maybe assign some variables, take some input, do some printing, do some relational operators, test the if else, sort of get used to how we write Python and how we can actually do these decision structures. The only way that you really can learn this stuff is by doing it. So again, the best way to go through these videos is with your PyCharm editor up and ready to follow along with me, okay? And then again, don't just do what I do. Go ahead and write other things, mess around with the code, see if you can break it, see if you can fix it. And again, it's really important to go ahead and learn interpreter errors as well. So for instance, if I miss a colon here, right? Obviously it gives me a little red line, but if I run it, it's actually going to give me the error here. It says if name is less than Adam Spinner. It says syntax error expected a colon. So it literally tells you in line 3, there is a colon expected. So I can go here to line 3. I can say, oh, look at that. I missed a colon. Okay. Same thing here on else, right? So I can run this again. Oh man, look at that. It's expecting a colon, so I should put a colon in there. Now, if there are multiple errors, it's going to grab the very first one. Okay, so line 3, we missed that. Okay, so now if I correct that one, great, I can run it again. Boom. Oh, rats, I have another error. Don't panic at this point. Just read the error. It says in line 5, after else, I need to have a quotation or a colon. Great, fantastic. There we go. Now I can run it again, and voila, now it's working. Now again, because this is interpreted, it runs line by line. Okay, so it's important to make sure that you go ahead and follow that through and make sure that you test all the execution streams to make sure that we're still good and everything is looking good now. Okay, so again, when you get those red letters, don't be afraid. Just read it nice and slow, pay attention to what it's telling you, and it should help you to go ahead and fix your problem. Okay, so moving into this idea of nested decision structures. I mentioned earlier that you can actually put if statements inside of if statements. Okay, so I can actually have name, and then I can get age here. So let's go ahead and get the age. What is your age? Okay, so now I have name and age. Okay, so if name, let's go ahead and test to see if the name is Adam. All right, so there we go. So I can go ahead and print that out. Now let's go ahead and do another if statement. If, let's test if age is greater than 10. Okay, so then I can print you're older, whatever. That doesn't matter, okay? But then I can also do an else statement right here, and I can print you're younger. All right, so you'll notice that I have an if statement, and if we get this one true, then we move into this block. Okay, so I go ahead and print this, and then I move into this new if statement. Okay, so if this new if statement evaluates to be true, then I move into this block. Otherwise, if it's false, I move into this block. Okay, so the situation that we have here, and again, we have to make sure that we put our, actually, I want to show you the interpreter error here. So we actually have this, what's called a nested decision structure, and this will create a little bit of an error, but I want you to see the interpreter error so you know how to fix it, okay? But this is what is called nesting decision structures. Nesting decision structures, okay? So I have this decision structure, this if else, and then inside of this if, I have an if else, and I could do the same thing down here too. And actually save some time, why don't we just copy and paste that down here, right? Okay, so now I have the same thing happening down here as well, and shoot, might as well just say this, okay? And we can go you're younger and you're older. Oops, better spell it right. It's times like that I'm definitely a coder. Okay, so we have these nested decisions then. Okay, so I can check to see if the name is Adam. If it is, then we're going to do this check. If it's not, then we're going to do this check. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this and see what happens. Now again, I mentioned there's going to be an interpreter error likely. All right, so I'm going to say Adam. Oops. Oh, and it actually is, oh, well, actually no, we're not there yet. We are in age. So I'm going to put 10. Okay. Now it says your name is Adam because it checks to see if name is equal to Adam, and it did, and that was great. And then it says, hey, your name is Adam. It printed that right here. And then it goes if age is greater than 10, but it says, well, wait a second, age is a string and 10 is a number. So it actually says in line 6 right here. So I go down line 6, boom. If age is greater than 10, it says type error. Greater than is not supported between instances of string. Okay, so string is age, right? str. And int, because int is 10. Okay, so it literally tells you what's wrong. It says you either need to convert 10 to a string or you need to convert age to an int. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and convert age to an int. Okay, so now we should be able to run this again. Now, the reason why I was able to execute that far is because this programming language is interpreted, not compiled. So it'll actually run this, run this, run this, run this, and then find this. Okay. Now with syntax errors, a little different. It'll do a quick scan before it starts running for, missing colons and stuff like that. Okay. So my name, Adam, and the age is 11. Okay. Now we should expect to know what path it's going to take. Okay. So my name is Adam. So we're in this block. And 11 is greater than 10. So we should be in this block, right? It should say you're older, right? When I hit enter. Okay, your name's Adam, you're older. All right. Now, again, if we do this again and we try to force it down to this name is not Adam. Okay, so let's use John here. All right, so we know we're going to jump to here, and let's say we want to get this you're older here, right? Let's go ahead and put an exclamation point there so you can tell it's different. All right, so we have this exclamation, then let's rerun that. So John, and then we're going to do age. We want to make it false, so we're going to do 11. Okay, and again, it's going to tell us that we have this problem, right? Line 12, age, it says, hey, this age is a string and this is an int, so I need to fix that. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Int age. Very good. Okay, so when you get these red letters, don't freak out. The thing I tell all of my students is don't be afraid of getting those red letters. Okay, it tells you exactly what you need to do, how to fix it, and how to get in there and get rid of them. Okay, so we can do that again. We can go John and 11, and there we go. It says your name is not what we want, and then it says you're older. Okay, so we were able to follow the false path, false path. Okay, so that is what is called a nested decision structure. Okay, now the thing about this nested decision structure, this is really complicated, right? We can actually sort of break this down by using this idea of if, else, if, else. Okay, so we can actually have multiple different things to sort of check before we go down. So let's go ahead and just start this over. So if we say if, so we're going to create this new statement. And then after this, we're going to have some statement. Now, I want you to learn this quickly, okay? There is this keyword called pass. I want you to think of pass as a placeholder. Okay, so it just basically just passes forward. It just skips it. It's like a no operation, okay? So if I don't know exactly what I'm going to write in here, I can just write pass, okay? So then I can do elif, right? Because I want to have that. So then I have this condition here. Okay, and I don't really know what I'm going to write yet, so I'm going to write pass. And then I can have another elif if I want. I can have as many elifs as necessary to do what it is I need to do. And then I can actually do an else, and then I can pass. Now, to make sure that this runs, I can just go ahead and run it. Boom, Adam, 10. Okay, and it ran. Everything is fine, no errors. Okay, so let's go ahead and check if name is Adam. All right, then we can say print your name. Whoops. Okay, look at that. Boom. Okay, so it says your name is Adam. Now let's go ahead and check if name or if age, and obviously we have to do an int, right? Age is greater than 10. Okay, here I can just go ahead and print out you are older than 10. Okay, very, very simple. Now, once I have code in there, I can get rid of pass. So if you're going to use pass, make sure you get rid of it when it's not needed anymore. And then we could go ahead and say if int age is less than 10, then I can say print you are young. Okay, otherwise I can print have a nice day. Okay, there you go. And again, I want you to be following along with this. Okay, please be following along with me, writing this code, playing around with this. Okay, so now let's just evaluate this. Let's just understand that we can read this code. Okay, so I'm going to ask, what is your name? The input function is going to take the keyboard input. It's going to generate a string, and it's going to save a string into the name variable. I'm going to ask, what is your age? The input function is going to read the keyboard input, and it's going to create a string and store that string in age. Okay, now we're going to jump into this if statement. It's going to say if the thing in name, that string that we saved into name, is the same as Adam, case sensitive, then we're going to print your name as Adam. Otherwise, so if it's not, then we're going to check if your age is older than 10. If you're older than 10, it'll say you're older than 10. Otherwise, it'll check to see if your age is less than 10. If it's less than 10, it'll say you're young. And actually, let's just do equals 10. Then, and to make sure that we can actually get to this else, it'll say, have a nice day. And actually, we should do this because I can show you a little corner case here. Okay. Otherwise, it'll give you have a nice day and then say this program is done. So let's go ahead and run this. Okay, so let's test that first condition first. I'm going to enter Adam. And we're going to go ahead and enter 12. Okay. Because I entered Adam, it starts at the top and it evaluates this first one. It says it's true, so then it prints this. Notice how it didn't do these other checks. Okay, so if it's an if, elif, else, or if, elif, else, these are all connected. Okay, so it's going to start at the top, and the first one that evaluates to be true, it's going to take that path, and then it's going to jump out to the end. Okay, so you'll notice it says Adam, so it says, is name Adam? Well, yes, it is. So it says your name is Adam, and then it jumps out to the end. Okay, so let's go ahead and not have the name as Adam, and let's go ahead and have something greater than 10, which we already had that. So Adam and 12. Okay. Oh, and actually, sorry, I got to run that again and have a different name. So we're going to go John, and then we're going to have 12. Okay, so it says, hey, is your name Adam? No, it is not. So we're going to skip this one. So it says, okay, is your age greater than 10? And it says, yes, your age is greater than 10. So then we jump in here, and it says, you are older than 10. Okay, so let's start this again, only this time let's do something less than 10. Okay, so we're going to go John 8. Okay, so it said, is your name Adam? No, it's not. Is your age greater than 10? No, it's not. Is it less than 10? Absolutely. So it prints, you are young. Okay, and then it jumps out. Notice how it didn't print, have a nice day. All right, so let's see if we can just circumvent this altogether, right? We have a little corner case here where I can actually be age 10 and get have a nice day, right? Because 10 is not greater than 10, 10 is not equal to 10, and my name is not Adam, so that means I get have a nice day. Okay, so then it says this program is done. All right, so that's sort of the multiple decision structure here. It can actually be nested inside, which is what I showed you earlier, or we can actually do this if else statement, right? Now, the cool thing about that is you can actually have as many of these elifs as you want. Now, again, important note, and I've already mentioned this, you must use proper indentation in a nested decision structure, okay? You have to. Whenever I was writing that if statement here, okay, so I can actually do if age is greater than 10, right? Then I can print something. Notice how I have a tab here and a tab here, and then now I'm in another tab, okay? Because the tab delineates and says, hey, this is the body of this, right? And this stuff is the body of this, okay? So you must use proper indentation on that, okay? Otherwise, it's going to mess it all up. All right. So again, go back, mess around with that, play with that a little bit. Looks like we're at about 14 minutes roughly here on the recording. We're going to take a little break, and then we're going to jump back in.